Welcome back to Scotty's Hobbies. Have you ever heard of ZEF, Z-E-F, Zero Emissions Forklift? Well, that was a rule that the state of California came up in 2024 with, and it was going to be enacted starting in 2025 with the phase out starting in 2026. And I'm going to go over that in this video, as well as give you an update on CARB and the emissions deregulations going on. First, hit that like button, please, subscribe, hit the ring bell, check out the video library for a ton of automotive helpful videos and some emissions deregulations videos. Now getting back to it. ZEF, Zero Emissions Forklift. What this rule was going to be was a phase out of all propane, gas, and diesel powered forklifts in the state of California starting in 2026. But they realized that this waiver would not get approved through the current administration. So on May 29th at the CARB meeting, they announced that they are going to put this rule on hold. They're not going to enforce it. And they're just going to wait with it and see what happens. And I really think what they're going to do is wait for an administration that comes through that will allow this waiver to get passed in the EPA or approved by the EPA. Now, what was the ZEF waiver going to be, or rule going to be? Starting in 2026, the sale of diesel, gas, and propane forklifts in California was going to be stopped. No more sale of those forklifts. Starting in 2028, they were going to start the phase out of all of those forklifts in California, not being able to be used anymore. And then by 2038, there was going to be no more allowed in California. What they want to do is only have electric, or fuel cell forklifts. That's going to be what they want to go to. So again, what I think they're going to do is they're going to wait for an administration to come through and then try to push this through at that time. So what, in 3 years potentially or more, who really knows? And then moving on to the Advanced Clean Fleets waiver or rule. That was a waiver that the state of California or CARB applied through EPA to get a waiver or granted a waiver to do a electric vehicle mandate for big rigs, phase out big rigs in another fashion. We know there's other fashions where they were trying to go towards this, but they just keep coming up with different rules to get rid of big rigs in California. And another one of them was the Advanced Clean Fleet. Well, back in January, they realized that this administration is not going to approve this waiver. So they said, let's go ahead and rescind this request. Let's pull it off the table, and we're going to set this one aside as well. But right now, for some reason, it's hitting mainstream media that this waiver or rule just got rescinded. But it actually happened back in January. So late news coming out to you guys. So what I think, again, what they're going to do is just wait for another administration to come through and just push a bunch of stuff through when they know that they actually can. Of course, Trump, Zeldin, EPA, they're not going to approve any waivers for California as they sit right now. So why is California going to waste their time? But you guys better be ready when a new administration comes through. I bet they're going to come back and they're going to hit hard. And I know everyone, they're going to be defunded. They have no more, all the executives are leaving. Oh yeah, on that subject, the executives leaving. In some videos, or a video I posted a long time ago, like it's over there, I posted a video a long time ago. I said, really, what does it mean when executives leave? In government, when you leave a position, that opens the position for somebody to come and apply for that position. The position doesn't just go away. Well, if you go look on the CARB Jobs website, I think it's called, you will find that where is it? I wrote it down. Assistant Division Chief for Air Resource Board position is open right now. And if you're looking for a job, they pay $14,000 to $16,000 per month. Working for government, you don't always get paid the best. 14 to 16 grand is pretty darn good. But when you're an executive at that high level, if you go to a private job, a private career, you make way more money. And really, the benefits are much better in the private sector right now than in government. So people move. It doesn't mean when the executives start leaving, it doesn't mean that they see something going on. It could, but that doesn't mean that the position is gone forever. Nobody's going to be there to fulfill the duties of that position. Like I said in that last video, here's this position, it's open. There'll be a link in the description below for you to go apply for that job if you like. Next, the CRAs. The CRAs have not made any movement since the Senate passed them out of the Senate. They approved them. They voted on them, and all the CRAs that could stop emissions in California, they passed. But really, they're not going to stop emissions. They're just waivers, or they're just rescinding 3 waivers that were granted during the Biden administration of January 2024. Sorry, of December of 2024, and actually were signed into rules in 2025. Now, with that, I've been sending emails to everybody. Anybody that is associated with these bills, I've been doing anything I can to get a hold of somebody that will give me some information. I finally got a hold of John Joyce. It was actually a secretary. Somebody answered the phone. They weren't too knowledgeable, but they said at this time, Representative John Joyce is still looking forward to going or attending the CRA signing, House Joint Resolution signing with Donald Trump. So I'm not sure what that means. I don't know if that's going to speed up the process or slow it down or whatnot, but they're still looking forward to these House Joint Resolutions being signed and becoming CRAs. Last but not least, a lot of people have been asking about the Stop CARB Act. Now this is the bill. There's 2 of them. There's one in the Senate, S-1072, and there's one in the House, H.R. 2218. They're the same exact bills. These are the bills that we need to get through to stop California emissions. What these bills do is rescind all the waivers in Section 209 of the federal law known as the Clean Air Act. Section 209 of that federal law gives California the ability to make their own emission standards. That's how they get all these waivers, such as the ZEF, the Advanced Clean Cars, the Advanced Clean Cars 2, the Omnibus Low NOX Rule, Advanced Clean Fleets. These are all waivers that California applies or applies to be granted through the EPA. If the EPA says, yes, you could have these, then they can enact on these rules. The Stop CARB Act, either one in the Senate or the House, will stop all of those from happening. It will rescind all of the waivers that have already been issued, and it will stop any future waivers from being able to be approved. It's the true stop to California emissions that we want and we need. So when you're looking for bills that pass, the real bills that are really going to make a difference are the Stop CARB Act, H.R. 2218 or S-1072. There's going to be links in the description below for you to go check those out and actually read the verbiage on those. But make sure you guys do some of your own research, see what's going on. Really, everything's really stagnant right now. There's really not much happening. I'm very, very surprised that President Trump has not signed these CRAs yet to get rid of or rescind the waivers for the Omnibus Low NOx or the Advanced Clean Cars 2, or I forget what the other one was, HJ Res 87, whichever one that one was. I'm very surprised Trump has not hopped on these. But even with those being signed, we all know, we should know, that it's only rescinding those 3 rules that those waivers are it only rescinds those 3 rules that those CRAs are applicable to, not all of the waivers. I've been having a lot of people getting confused with HJ Res 88, I believe it is. Whichever one is the Omnibus Low NOx Rule. That's not going to get rid of all of the NOx rules in California. If you look up Omnibus Low NOx Rule, and I'll put a link in the description below, from California, that is actually mandating NOx rules for big rigs, not for light duty trucks or medium duty vehicles. That rule only applied to big rigs. So that's not going to do anything to California emissions either. Now, if you see something out there that I'm missing, please comment below, shoot me a link, like a factual link, not an opinion piece. And if you are a smog shop, make sure to hit me up. I'm going to be doing Zoom interviews as soon as these bills get passed. I was going to start doing it every Friday. I didn't do one last Friday because nothing's been signed, everything's been stagnant, and it's really just no use of calling smog shops and asking pointless questions right now. So I'm waiting for something to move. I have also been looking over the big beautiful bill, the one big beautiful bill, and I'm really not seeing anything that's going to rescind emissions either. I did post a video that I'll post a link in the description about as well, and really in the resolution there was a couple of rules that came up or amendments that came up, and they are going to rescind emissions, but that was going to be emissions rules that were going to be started in 2027. Nothing is going to be rescinded from the past that we are currently following when it comes to emissions regulations. So really, nothing looks like it's going to change at this time. We keep our fingers crossed, but like the old man said, plan for the worst, hope for the best, and you're going to be happy. Well, hopefully you'll be happy. At least you're going to know what's going to be going on, not just hoping for the best and just being all depressed when it doesn't work out, because you already know what the worst could have been. Thanks for checking out Scotty's Hobbies. I will see you guys on the next, hopefully helpful video.